Hello and welcome to Unitronics webinar. Today we will be going over Ethernet connection and communication. We'll start by setting up a simple TCP/IP connection and we'll show how to connect with PC to the PLC. Today we'll be using the V570 with the Ethernet card installed. Let's go ahead and we'll start a new project. Project new. We won't save the previous changes. I'm going to select from the hardware configuration the V570, and we won't be using any snap I/O today. Let's take a look at our main ladder, and let's go ahead and start by setting up the Ethernet connection. Now, before we can use Ethernet, we have to write a net in our application where we're going to set up the IP address, the gateway, and we have to set up the socket we're going to use. So let's go ahead and use our system bit 2 with a normally open contact here. We'll just go ahead and either hit S or drop down to system bit and 2, and you might recognize this as the system bit we use whenever we do a configuration. This bit will be high for the first scan of the PLC's life and low for all other scans. So when we start up the controller, essentially this is our startup or our power up bit. So the elements connected to it will run only for that first the first scan. We'll go ahead and we will give next under COM a PLC name. This is one of the parameters we're going to need to connect to the controller with our remote access software. In this case, we're going to use a direct string. This is case sensitive, so make sure if you type in upper or lowercase values, you remember them. We're just going to use the numbers 570. We'll hit OK. We'll make sure also we connect the two functions here with an element. We can either use the connect elements or double click till we see a crosshair and draw and connect. Now from COM TCP, we're going to select card init. And what this gives us the option is to enter an IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway. Now if we select the ellipse, we see we can enter an IP address, or we have the option of using address of MIs. And we won't worry about this address of MIs right now, but we'll just say it's used to give indirect addressing. If we wanted to create a scheme or a screen where users can enter an IP address from HMI, this is the option we would use. But in this case, we're just going to use static IP address. And for this example we're going to do, we're going to use 10.2.2.56 because it works with the network I'm on. We're going to hit OK. And notice the subnet mask and default gateway are filled in by themselves as per the class. We're going to go ahead and change this to match the network we're on. And we'll use 10.2.2.54. We'll hit OK. Now we've set up our power-up bit. So when we start this controller, this net will be activated. And only for that first scan again. We gave it the PLC name 570. Again, it's case sensitive. And we've given the controller an IP address. Now these are good things. These are what we need to get the controller on our network. In order to connect to our controller, we need to set up a socket in listen mode. And again, in this case, we're going to do examples with TCP/IP. And again, TCP/IP is a handshaking protocol. So it's we can think of it as a master-slave protocol. We need one device that's going to be connecting and one device that's going to be sitting and listening. So in order to set up now our socket, and we'll look at in a second the help file, let's go ahead and let's pull out a socket initialization. And we'll place it right here. And now before we configure this, let's go ahead and look at the help file.